Hello everybody, this is Dr. Connors with a really quick, very brief video on cell phones and cancer. Some people have likened cell phones to the new cigarette and the damaging effects that it can cause cancer. Now, a lot of the studies that are out there will say that it doesn't cause cancer, but if you look at the biasness of those studies, they were funded by cell phone companies, so we got to throw those out. The studies that are coming out, as a matter of fact, the World Health Organization just published something last year saying that the dangers of cell phone cancer or cell phone use and the increase of cancer is real, in an Indian study that we're going to show you in just a second. Cell phone damage to your brain is really the biggest thing that people are looking at, but it's even more than that. Even though we can't get into this in this video, the cell phone towers and the radiation that puts out is even a bigger problem. But right now, cell phones. As a person is, the younger a person is, the more damaging effects that radiation from a cell phone happens to their brain. As in this little slide here, this is a 5-year-old on the left with the amount of penetration from that cell phone radiation into that child's brain. As a 10-year-old, it goes through maybe a half to 2/3 of the brain. As an adult, it affects mainly a third of the brain. But that radiation is penetrating, and partly it has to do with the thickness of the bone of the skull and the protection that the skull bone gives you. But we can't ignore the effect on the bone, the skull bone itself, with radiation. Of course, children even this young, as in this picture, are using cell phones. So it's not just cancer, but it is the radiation from cell phones affects the blood-brain barrier, which if you look at our brain book, that is the huge issue when we're dealing with brain issues like autism, ADD, and Asperger's, is a breakdown in that blood-brain barrier. Once that blood-brain barrier is compromised, toxins that are circulating in your blood from other sources, heavy metals and poisons and pesticides, etc., that you cannot not be exposed to, can cross the blood-brain barrier that normally should have been protected by that barrier, can get into the brain and cause all sorts of inflammatory issues. Eye cancers, ear tumors, other cancers. It's just you can't get away from it. The unbiased studies that are out there, here's one from 2012 published in India, giving you very distinct data that cell phone use increases cancer risk. And like I mentioned, the World Health Organization study. Now, the truth is that we can have study after study after study, and more are going to come out, because the problem is that widespread use of cell phones is really happened in the last 10 years. In the 1990s, it was less than 50% of people use cell phones. Now it's nearly 100% of adults use cell phones, and as young as 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, kids using cell phones. We're never going to get away from that. And even if there's more and more and more data that comes out showing the dangers of cancer and cell phone use, I'll tell you, myself, I'm never going to stop using my cell phone. I have become addicted to it in a way that I'm dependent upon it. That's our mode of communication. So this is not to tell you to not use your cell phone. And we can get into other presentations that tell you how to use your cell phone maybe a little more wise, and not where you carry it and how you hold it and such. But this is a presentation on what you can do to protect yourself. On the right of this slide here is a company called Hedron, and this is actually a picture of the little disc that goes on the back of your phone. Now, up until just a few weeks ago, we were using a disc from PRL, which is fantastic. I still have that on my phone. Now I have both of them on my phone. But that little PRL disc was great. It always tested perfect with patients in knocking out the EMFs from their cell phone, at least a good percentage of them. The problem was it's about $100. So I was searching for another avenue. The issue that I found is the ones that are inexpensive, that are out there, never tested that they worked. So there's a lot of scam artists out there that you have to be careful of. These Hedron discs test perfectly, as good or even better than the PRL ones. And they're a lot cheaper. I mean, not a ton cheaper, but the regular price on these are $79. And we have them on sale if you buy a 6-pack, which I'll tell you about in a second, for 59 bucks. So it's a way to get everybody in your family protected, to put them on your iPads, your iPhones, your laptops, and just keep yourself as protected as possible. It's a matter of, you can't run away from the EMFs, but you can protect yourself and be as wise as possible. You simply take this little sticker and you put it on the back of your laptop or your cell phone. Now, on the right of this picture, it shows it just one on the back of the cell phone. On the left, they're showing 4 on the back of a big computer screen. Now, one will give you a lot of protection. Obviously, 4 would be best on a great big computer screen, but you have to just kind of use your financial ability to be able to put as many as you possibly can use. I never suggest more than 1 on a cell phone, for instance. And cell phone is your huge EMF producer that you have right next to your body. Computer screens, at least you're not having your head up against the computer screen, we hope. But they're important. So the reason why we're starting to carry these over the PRL is I think they work better. They're not as bulky on the phone. They don't stick out as much because that was an issue with the PRL product, and then phone cases wouldn't fit over them. These phone cases typically fit right over them. They're more flat. They're about 20-some% cheaper, and now on sale they're about 40% cheaper. So it's just a way to get more people to have them. When things that are great for you are cost prohibitive, that's a struggle. The other nice thing about these is the PRL ones, if you changed your phone and you peeled it off your phone, typically you damaged it and it was worthless. These peel off nicely, so they will last forever too. They aren't something that you need to replace. So it's a one-time purchase. You can use it. People get new cell phones a lot. You can peel it off and put it on a new cell phone that tends to work better. Here's the link. I haven't figured out how to put a link that you can actually click on a video. But in this email, there's also a link that you can click on and you can purchase it at our sale price. If you go to our store from our website, it's the $79. But if you click on this email and click on the link, you have the sale price and the 6-pack price. Okay, hope this benefits somebody, and we'll talk to you soon.